In a world of non-stop dead-on-arrival hero shooters, a little few years ago, there's been a few FPS games that focuses on tactics and strategy, like Ready or Not, Ground Branch, and Zero Hour. All this thanks to one game that brought it all to life, called Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six: Enemy SWAT. Now when it comes to the Rainbow Six franchise, I've only played the second game on the PS1, the first game on N64 emulator, and the fourth game on PS2, which is the main topic I want to talk about. I've heard about the Vega series being good, and Siege still being played, even with Ubisoft slowly and possibly being sold to the Chinese. But I never really played those games, and I think the cancellation of Rainbow Six Patriots kinda killed my interest in the franchise, so don't expect me to get into those. Of course there's aliens now. But before we actually get to the game, I want to talk about the basics of the series, starting from its mainline beginning until getting to the game that I want to talk about. So I'll try my best to speedrun this. Released in an era where too many FPS games are more focused on feeling like guns blazing power fantasies, it's not there to make you feel like a Demon Slayer, a B-movie star, or James Bond. Rainbow Six is all about business and realism. This isn't a game that lets you go blasting shooting everything on sight. It's a game where you have to look carefully on the map to think your strategies, or take your squad and choose who's the right man or woman for the job, along with choosing the right equipment. The game has 4 classes. Assault handles the shooting, electronics hack things faster, demolitions defuse bombs faster, and recon basically acts like a stealthy scout used to plant and scan enemies from the map just by staying there and do nothing. Or at least that's how I think you play as them, or that their lockpicking skills are better. And seeing that you have to plant things carefully during the mapping phase, carelessness means a one-hit kill from the enemies, because this game is punishingly hard. If you make a single mistake, your squad might end up feeling tired or incapacitated for the next few levels. Worst status, ending up KIA, which permadeaths them, never to be seen ever again. When they do die, you hear this somber, melancholic orchestral score playing as you're in a funeral giving your army mate a farewell to the other side. Or you can just hire a reserve squad member who has infinite lives. For a game made in the 90s, I'm surprised that it's actually pretty well written. But then again, this is an adaptation of a real book until it started diverging from its own canon, so most of the lore dumps are just something taken straight from the book. Voice work when spewing out commands feel realistic, so both gameplay and action do a good job on making it feel immersive, despite its old, outdated VR training-ish graphics. Can't say the same for this lady trying to sound like an obvious smug villain.
Why?
I never trusted that woman.
But speaking of VR training-ish graphics, the sequel game Rogue Spear is where new improvements have been added thanks to its new engine, like new weapons, better AI, and even a sniper class. Heck, I even heard real-world military uses its game engine for virtual training.
Virtual grunt of the digital age, that's just great.
Unfortunately, the PC version isn't available anywhere, unlike Game 1, but I did still play this on the first PlayStation, even if most of my memory is just dying alive and playing split-screen multiplayer in the airplane map. As far as I know, the game does still feel the same, but considering that it's the console version, it's probably a lot more watered down. And the playing phase is a million times more confusing. Come on guys, the N64 solved this problem! If there is one issue I have with this game, it's the lockpick tool. Maybe I'm playing this on a normal difficulty, but I haven't found a single use for this lockpick, since all the doors here are unlocked. Compare that to the last game where there's actual uses. So if this is an oversight the port team forgot, please let me know. It also introduced to one of the most OP tools in the game, which are thermal goggles, that basically make the heartbeat sensor a bit obsolete. As for story, well, since it's an original one made especially for the games, it doesn't look like any of Tom Clancy's book writings are anywhere on the wall. There's some post-Cold War nuclear themes here and there. I found the last game's story better. I did like the game's post-credit scene epilogue.
The communists, privacy they never understood. But you are American. You understand how precious a man's privacy can be.
Which is why I bring you to my sponsor, Proton VPN. If I actually have a VPN sponsor! Subscribe now. And enter Rainbow Six Raven Shield. While I never played this game before, I have heard a lot of people calling this as the best game in the classic era, which I was pretty excited to play so I can see what it's all about. Only to find that it's a generic, boring linear shooter? Huh? This is the best Rainbow Six game? An FPS shooter? Where's the planning phase? Where's the team selection? And where's the non-linear map design of the early games? So that's where I found the problem. It's that this game was made during the multi-platform era, where if your console can't run this game correctly, then the devs have no choice but to wire it down to make use of the limitations. Another loss for the console gang, another win for PC Master Race. Not only that, they even changed the storyline of Raven Shield from neo-Nazis to Venezuelan oil crises. That sounds especially similar as this time of recording. God damn it, I came here to review Rainbow Six 4, not review Rainbow Six 3. Well, good news. You're all getting a double review, or quadruple if you count my speedrun review of 1 and 2. Guess this also means I'm changing the title. So starting off the game, get to see this cool cinematic of the Rainbow team going on a mission to rescue hostages while doing some super spy shit. Too bad this stuff never actually happened in the game. There's a training mode to teach you basics. You can lean left and right, use iron sights that's similar to Fear. Well, 2 years before Fear actually. So far, the only guns I use are pistol, SMG, rifles, with shotguns and snipers. Never really equipped them because 1, this is a Rainbow Six game, it's punishing and you can die at any time at any given moment.
Man down! Man down!
So using a strong weapon with small ammo count feels unwise. 2, most of the levels here are small anyway, so why is a sniper rifle as a team leader? Listen, if I had another player with me to play co-op, maybe the experience could be different, since at least there might be someone watching my back controlled as player 2. What's this, online mode? Yeah, I wish. Sometimes I forgot online gaming existed on the PS2, but just didn't have the same level as the Xbox, I guess.
I play every game as Dark Master. People are starting to recognize who I am.
Oh no, not Dark Blister.
Dude, they can hear me, and I can hear them. That's the coolest thing about Xbox Live, the voice. Grasshopper's got his Xbox communicator, and so does Roadhog and Earth.
You sit on the chair and hold the camera!
Welcome to the shotgun station.
Now, where was I? Oh yeah, the loadout. Other than the guns I mentioned, there's also a grenade launcher, new grenade types like smoke bombs, fire bombs, tear gas that makes you cry unless you have a gas mask. What's there between a frag and a phosphorus? To be honest, I'm not sure, but this is my go-to grenade just because I find the burning animations a bit funny. And there's claymore mines, but I'm not sure why this exists because I doubt you can actually trick enemies with a bomb since they don't really have the most realistic AI.
Lead down! I say again, lead is down!
Off to campaign mode, start my save file, and what do you mean I can't replay and select levels? I have to start from level 1? Like, guess I'll play this on easy mode, so I won't have to waste time.
Let's get right
Okay, technically you can just replay them in custom campaign, but there's not much to customize other than story mode or not story mode. This also means you can't customize your team since you're stuck with the same party members. No permadeath and no character switching. Instead, most of the game you'll be playing as Dane Chavez, last seen as the guy who got KIA'd in the gameplay of my first game. Welcome back to the land of the living. As Chavez, you're basically a team leader giving orders like telling your squad to move forward, or have them hold still while you go alone to scout enemies yourself. With the game lacking any pre-planning phase, at least the game can give you some tactical door opening orders, with 1 go code as opposed to the previous games having 4 go codes. Now since this game was made during the early days of online gaming, you can actually connect your microphone and use that to order your teammates, which works in theory for real-time commanding, but as opposed to selecting options, it feels useless. Open flash clear. Team check-in, come in. Open flash clear.
Roger. Open flash and clear.
Arrest! Arrest!
Negative, sir.
Why not?
Negative, sir.
Secure terrorist.
Can't do that, sir.
Could I have something to eat?
No.
Could I have something to eat?
No.
Secure!
Waiting for orders.
Roger. Securing terrorist.
Oh, son of a bitch, I have to say the right words. Move.
Roger. Holding.
I said move. Move forward. Forward!
Can't do that, sir.
Roger. Moving now.
Whatever, I'll press the X button if that's what you like. Open frag on Zulu.
Roger. Open and frag on Zulu.
Go code Zulu.
Roger. Open and clear.
No! This is impossible! You guys!
As a side note, Travis never really talks in game except for cutscenes. Judging by his voice work, he tends to talk like a gruff American badass.
I liked them better when they were just blowing up shipyards.
And the next game, well, I'll bring that up later when I get to there. Each of your squad teammates has different explosive types, so if one of them is down, you can't use them again until the next level. Sometimes you get a mission where it's just you alone or only 2 squad mates that limits your options like open and clear, which is the standard door open command. Flash and clear, which is recommended for hostage rescue, to blind enemies and make sure you don't shoot any friendlies. Frag and clear to throw a bomb, and breach and clear, which blows up the door, killing nearby enemies. The only thing I don't like is how your troops are probably gonna get shot while they throw a bomb in the room. In that case, why not just use thermal goggles or heartbeat sensor? You know why? Because those tools have been nerfed to oblivion! You can't see enemies behind doors, which makes it hard to figure out. The heartbeat sensor, it's only used in one mission, and I'll get to that part later. Now personally, I don't recommend letting your characters die until the end of the level, since they actually do tend to talk and make comments even if it's pretty basic.
Nice shot!
Not Left 4 Dead levels, but I did get some good advice from my teammates.
Take out the driver! Hold where you are. Nice work.
Now, due to the game being super linear most of the time, you'll have Clark ringing to your ears giving objectives, telling you what to do next. So it's not exactly a quite an atmospheric game compared to the last two, which is ironic because there's not much music here unlike the last installments. Graphically wise, the game is ugly! Since it's trying to do its best to look good until you start looking at the PC version with its own original levels. Oh come on, it's available on Steam! And the pre-rendered cutscenes are disgusting!
What's that?
It looks like some kind of incomplete CGI kids cartoon airing on Nickelodeon, like some poor man's Jimmy Neutron. And you can tell how some of them looks incomplete because some of the cutscenes at least have some decent rendering, like mission number. But 99% of the time, you can notice some weird flaws, like the final cutscene here, where the grass is floating. And don't get me started on the character models. Just look at John Clark's face. Looks like he smoked the pot before doing mission briefing. Yo, dang, you gotta check out the smoke pot I found. Wait, what's that? I'm sniffing VX nerve gas? Now the combat is where it pisses me off the most. For some weird reason, this game has one of the worst auto-aim systems to ever exist. Apparently, if you start looking at an enemy, your crosshair will start moving automatically by itself, which only makes your shots worse. And you can't even turn this off. It's not letting me shoot properly, and your gun is too big. So big that you can't see anything, and by the time you don't realize it, someone's bound to shoot you. Sometimes when you shoot enemies in front, you get ambushed by a random enemy from behind. And what makes this a problem is that you move too slow, or sometimes one of them will just throw out an RPG launcher.
Hostile down.
Now, complaints about the linear structure aside, are there at least some highlights? To be honest, not that much, since the entire game is just you going from point A to point B. I guess one of the more memorable missions is when you have to chase a guy in the garage, which I find to be a very fast-paced mission, especially since you have to chase him down before he reaches the car. The stealth levels? Terrible. Just downright terrible, since most of the guards have supersonic senses. Then again, I don't think stealth is really a speciality within the Rainbow Six game, since it always tends to be terrible. No matter what you do in these games, even if it's a silenced gun, you're still not allowed to kill anyone. Get spotted? Game over. Goodbye. Rage quit. I'll have to play Splinter Cell then. This is also the only level in the game that actually uses the heartbeat sensor. And the worst part is that once you complete the objective to bug a phone, they just remove the enemy locations on the map. What for?
I'm sending you terrorist positions on your map, but I don't know how long it's going to last.
What? The last stealth segment is the final level, which also has the same problem. No shooting until I reach the objective. Now I actually had the machine gun equipped in this level, and I'd say the finale did almost turn me to Rambo since I'm allowed to kill anyone getting in my way. But that's not enough to call this a good game. Oh, this game is outsourced to the Chinese. 2 out of 5 Sutter points. How in the hell did the Xbox version get high reviews? Well, glad I'm done talking about the lame console port. The only reason I'm doing this is just so I can get to the game that I want to review. And as far as I know, looking at the PC version, it does seem to be another massive improvement from the first two. Luckily, the game is still on Steam, so I still have a chance to get that before it's taken off the shelves. And beating Raven Shield PS2 now, it's making me think about the consequences that'll happen in the next game. Because just a few years after Raven Shield, the PC version has decided to follow the same steps into making a linear-driven FPS shooter than a tactical shooter. So welcome to the video's main event. Welcome to Rainbow Six Lockdown. Okay, that intro song did not have to go that hard. Released on September 2005, Rainbow Six Lockdown is the 4th entry in the set of mainline games. Unlike the earlier games released on the PC version that lets you set waypoints, Lockdown, both on the PC and console version, decides to follow the same direction as what the PS2 team did. A linear, guns blazing action shooter that abandons what makes this a Rainbow Six game. While the reason for this directional change is unknown, my guess is that they're trying to attract a console multiplayer audience thanks to Raven Shield's sequel, Black Arrow, only on the Xbox. Oh, come on! What do you mean this game has a sequel before a sequel? I'm tired, boss.
We were #1 on Xbox Live with the Black Arrow for a long time. We think we're gonna claim #1 position again with...
This led to Rainbow Six Lockdown as the forgotten black sheep no one wants to talk about for the franchise's embarrassing edgy teen phase. Now, as my second game I've ever played, I had memories playing co-op mode, had all the levels unlocked, but then again, I wasn't the one being the game. So, only this review will tell if there's some nostalgia bias or not. Just like the last game, the game steps into the shoes of Bing Chavez, leading a squad of Rainbow teams to stop a terrorist group trying to use a bioweapon to spread an incurable disease. So it's basically the first game's plot but watered down. Whereas the last game doesn't allow you to choose teammates, this game, well, still can't choose them, but most of them are selected by John Clark for being the best team from the job. So, still no freedom of choosing there. But this only exists for character and narrative reasons where, unlike the last game where you squad need to just spew one-dimensional unique lines in certain parts, in here, the characters would actually converse in banter, which makes the game rewarding when you try to keep them alive. Still not Left 4 Dead levels, but it's pretty cool to see these cardboard cutout characters only used in the last games as disposable permadeath playables actually having their own distinct personality. For example, you've got Lozale, whose entire personality is that he's French.
Oh, you know, Raymond, this would be so boring if it were not for my beautiful partner.
Damn, it's hot.
Almost as hot as you. You know, Lofquist, from behind, you don't look half bad.
Roselle, you're flirting with disaster.
I don't flirt. I seduce.
Jacobi, whose entire character is that she's angry all the time.
Jacobi, watch your temper. I don't want you tearing the city apart.
Hold it! Wait, don't!
What's so funny?
You really missed me.
Whatever.
And Lofquist, who only exists as a punching bag for Jacobi.
Good going, Lofquist. Idiot. I told you, Chavez, she's going to get us killed.
Lofquist, try taking the safety off. That's very mature. Lofquist, you think maybe you should shoot back? If you've got a problem, Jacobi, just go ahead and say it. Hey, Lofquist, it's nothing personal. It's just that I need a soldier watching my back, not some college girl.
Like in the last game, Chavez doesn't really talk during gameplay, but when he does, like in cutscenes, he no longer sounds like a gruff American badass, and now sounds like a white teenage kid who discovered rap music for the first time.
Clark had nothing to do with it. The decision was... bullshit! I won't leave one of my people behind!
Not saying his voice actor did a bad job or anything, but am I the one who thinks that he looks like Eminem? I thought thing's supposed to be Mexican. While multiplayer mode is dead, I do like how the game allows to make your own characters or use pre-made ones that you can buy in stores. Other game modes include Terrorist Hunt, the game mode where you have to kill every terrorist, Lone Rush, a time attack mode where you have to reach to the end before time runs out, Infiltrator, where you have to play as a recon member who's there to hack cameras, and Sniper Game, which lets you play in the sniper segments including the story mode, which I'll get to later. So the game starts with a cool cinematic, and you can already tell that's a big improvement compared to Raven Shields made in a Chinese sweatshop budget crap. Although, I have a feeling most of the budget was wasted on the cutscenes alone, because this game has plenty of jank that I'll get to later. So the intro scene shows the main antagonist, Bastian Vanderwall? What kind of world we live in where it's a man named after an Oasis song? Even though this cutscene tries to make him threatening, I feel like the only character development he has is that he only appears in the first cinematic to Aura Farm, and that's pretty much it. Never appears again until the final level. Typical outdated video game villain writing right there. Now what I like about the briefing segment is that it has a much more high-tech presentation. But New Clark sounds like he's all business after eating a load of quarter pounders.
The city is under siege. NATO peacekeeping troops have done their best to restore order.
Me new, George. Studio too cheap to pay Brendan Fraser.
After a mission briefing, you get a character loadout where you can pick and choose what weapon you and your teammates use, customize them, try the PC version, or buy weapons, each with their own different stats, but then you have the unique ones like the grenade launcher and this rifle shotgun hybrid. Actually, come to think of it, I just realized how the PC version's customization allows you to remove these attachments. Meanwhile, in console version, all these attachments are pre-built. What is this, some kind of metaphor? Now while the class system makes a return, this mechanic doesn't mean anything because it only exists for NPCs to give a purpose as long as they remain alive. For example, if your electronics expert is alive, they'd be the ones to do the hacking. If your demo man is alive, they'd be the ones to defuse the bomb. But why give them the order when you can just interact it yourself? I don't see a speed difference other than they just want to pat themselves in the back. Graphics wise, it's it's not terrible like Raven Shield, but the game feels so blurry in my eyes. Like it's hard to see anything. The worst part is how the emulator can't even handle generating graphics models when reloading, or when you use your thermal goggles that turns everyone including people behind walls invisible. Least I can do is play in software rendering, but even then my eyes hurt even more because it's all pixely. Now as you reach your first door, the game gives you some new door breaching options. There's shotgun opening that tells your squad to shoot the hinges, and hammer that stuns enemies nearby, but this option is pretty useless since it's not like you're gonna spare any terrorists. Another new field option is to scout for any enemies behind walls, which is very useful than just telling them to go whatever random point. And by holding the X button, you can tell your teammates to suppress fire depending on where you point your crosshair. But this mechanic kinda sucks because, on one hand, I don't like how the menu takes a million seconds to pop up, and two, I feel like you need to be very specific with where you're aiming your crosshair, otherwise it feels like they aren't hitting anything. Microphone voice commands make a return, except whereas the last game was useless, this one doesn't even do anything. Move. 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 Grenade. Suppress. Stop. Stop. Cancel order. Cancel order. Move. Follow. Hold position. Hold. Hold position. Move.
This thing sucks.
Now some story missions have these sniping sections to progress the level, which is a console exclusive game mode taking control of the game's secondary protagonist, Weber, who what I'd like to call him as everyone's favorite golden boy, because if memory serves right, everyone in this game likes to glaze this man a lot. Maybe they should change his name to Everyone Loves Weber.
I don't even know, I've lost count. Weber's an arrogant bastard, but he's our arrogant bastard.
Now I was never a big fan of this section since I just want to get to the story mode plotline, but this section is unskippable while it gets to the next stage. The problem with these segments is that it has one of the most awkward controls ever. What idiot thought it would be a good idea to have the character movement stick as the way to zoom the camera, instead of just, I don't know, keep pressing the aim down sights button. And just to add more salt to the wounds, if one of your teammates die or have their health decreased, that means you're forced to play as them in their already weakened state. So if Bing gets 1 more HP, then congratulations, you're entering the game as a crippled captain on duty. Sure, you can always just go ahead and play Terrorist Hunt, but the problem with this game was that not only does it remove if story mode's alterations, but you also only get to play in the quarter section of the map, so who gives a shit? Now throughout the game, you might find these intel briefcases that give you currency, so if you think that just grinding and killing enemies is the best way to earn them, well, too bad, buddy. Killing them does not give you points. Oh, and I forgot to mention that the second level introduces gas canisters that can kill you by giving cancer. Here's a fun fact in Mission 5. If you let Pak, the Korean guy, survive long enough, he actually gets some extra comments in this in-game cutscene.
Holding, sir. Alpha 2, Pat is on. Vámonos, let's lead! They shot their own leader. They tried to kill him. The world is truly better without these people in it. Son of a bitch! 5, this is Alpha 2. We have Murray.
So after capturing him, you get taken to a hospital and watch this poor doctor get shot to death. The great part is that if you decide to skip this, you can actually save his life. It actually kind of gives in-game scenes like these a problem. Most of the time, it would usually be some terrorist performing a scripted action, but considering that you can skip them, why bother adding it? If there's some way to give players real-time strats and tactical plan like in the older games, it's not executable since most of the enemy AI has been watered down, and they all just turn way too slow. And speaking of dumb AI, even your friends can be stupid when sometimes they don't react to an enemy that's near them, or sometimes they would walk in front of you and get shot by their own bullets. Mother of piss, I'm trying to shoot here! Now despite the level implying that there are sick patients sleeping, you never really get to experience any hostage situation like that, except for the guy I have to rescue. And this happens again the next level that implies there are civilians in the subway station, when the real fact is that they've all been suspiciously armed with guns and are all trying to kill you.
There are civilians. Keep them safe.
Yeah, sure these guys are civilians. I'll tell you one thing, it's kinda interesting that this level has a prototype concept poster of Rainbow Six Lockdown before this game finally got its name. The only thing I wanna know is if there's a HD poster of this. I can't seem to find that online.
Hey, Weber, with the storm and turbulence, and it looks like they got hostages out on deck as human shields. You think you can do this? Concern yourself with your own affairs.
The snipers! Medic gaming!
How many German roles does Robin Atkin Downs have? Only one major role. Yeah, forget about his other German roles he's had. And from missions 9 until the finale, I think this is where some of the game's worst parts have been revealed, because these missions just reveal how broken this game is. For starters, you have the ship level, where it seems like no matter what order you give, there will be a bunch of terrorists waiting behind the door and just rapid fire blast you with a shotgun, which can kill off a member of your team before you can reach the next point. Then you have this spot after the Ubisoft product placement arcades, in which you enter one of the most poorly thought designed areas ever. First, you have these two guards waiting behind the wall. Then, it leads you to two paths, the left one and the right one. Now, if you go to the right path, you'll encounter maybe 2 or 4 terrorists waiting to ambush you, and when you enter a room they're in, you'll find out that it's a dead end with a door you can't open. And suddenly, an army of terrorists will pop on the left path. So this means you have to go to the left one, right? Well, guess what? If you actually walk to that path you're supposed to go, then there's only 2 terrorists waiting. And now an army of them just spawned the last path, ambushing you with endless number of soldiers coming out from that small room. Where did these guys come from? So the only way to get past this is if you hope and pray and order your friends to move somewhere far and hope they don't fight back, or run to the left path as far as possible and ensure your friends follow you. Because if they don't, they'll keep getting their asses shot! Also, Whippets conveniently place explosive barrels on top of a cruise ship. Who designed this level? Next level is the only stage where we'll have 2 members. In this mission, there's actually civilians this time, but when you reach the last zone, more terrorists just teleport behind the alleyway, and you can't do anything unless you kill like millions or billions of them as you start losing too much ammo. Sure, you can just take cover inside this building, but remember I said their AI is watered down because of their poor accuracy? Well, forget what I said, these guys have aimbot accuracy!
You, pretty boy, beat it! You with the mustache. Stick around.
And then we get to one of the worst levels in the game. Just too many enemies here, up to RPG spam in the first early section of the game. That basically insta-kills you and your friends. Then you have to rush to the market since all the extraction points are blocked, and now we get to the absolute worst part, which is to survive this arena section until you kill God knows how many guards are there. Even if I try to order these guys on where to go, the fucking Frenchie here thinks he could just order the team to move around. Motherfucker, who says you're the leader of the team? And even then, all the cover in this area sucks. And with the blurry graphics and lighting, it's just hard to kill enemies when they have prepared badges that you'll take higher ground. And just when you kill them, they'd start respawning at the same previous spot. This section sucks! I don't like this solution, but the only way for me to beat this level is to save scum, or as I'd like to call it, being the game, the coward's way.
It's the coward's way.
And just when you think the level is over, you still have to do a sniping minigame. So if your squad mates have a low health before entering here, then good work. They're all gonna die in an instant death. All thanks to that stupid arena section. And FYI, according to the mission briefing, if any of the teammates fail, that means you have to leave them behind.
This area is extremely dangerous. Extraction of wounded or captured operatives will not be possible. Anyone who goes down gets left behind, period.
But this is Rainbow Six Lockdown. Permadeath doesn't exist unlike in the classic games, so it's pretty much a lie. But then suddenly...
We're losing altitude!
Weber!
Of course everyone's favorite golden boy sniper is down. Of course he is!
They got Weber.
So in this mission, the team decides to go rogue and disobey orders to return to HQ. And what I like about this mission is how Jacoby is the one acting as field commander this time, unofficially. Although it doesn't seem like she cares if you get hurt or die, probably since they didn't bother recording those lines.
Alpha 2, that sounds like heavy fire!
Good work, Alpha 2. You're near their base of operations.
Women.
And here comes a new enemy type introduced late into the game, a gas mask soldier immune to getting virus infections. Despite these guys appearing in later levels, there aren't really much moments where virus cans appear, so I'm not even sure why they bothered making them here. So you rescue Weber, who for some reason wants to move forward, having God knows how much health he has. And skipping to the next few levels is a mission where I have to disable a virus being recorded live in a news building.
This bioweapon, you can disarm it? Well, in theory, depends on the delivery system. And if you can't? Put it this way, if you see me start running, try and keep up.
If there's one thing that I completely despise about this level, is when you get to the area where I have to disable the bomb. I die in this area a million gazillion times, no matter how much I took cover, and even after sending my squad mates, they still get their asses whooped. Because here on out, all the enemies are going to use gold-cured shotguns, light machine guns, or Sam Fisher's rifle. What was that scene supposed to be? Was there gonna be someone talking? Yeah, well, turns out there is, but the guy ran away from the gunfight happening, which broke the cutscene event from happening.
Hey, Lovequist, this is Jacoby. You're going to be okay, kid.
And these two girls hate each other. So off to mission 15, and this is where part where I almost gave up the first area of the mission. The thing is, your objective is to open up a door, disable security. but once the game tells you to go to the biolab, it never tells you where it is. I was expecting it to be the door of the lasers, or maybe somewhere in the server room. I kept getting lost in this section no matter where I go. Enemy guards would just straight up teleport in front of me, and I did nothing but restart the level over and over again, to the point where I had to use the invisibility cheat code, and I learned what you're supposed to do is to kill all the teleporting guards before you get to the biolab. Then why didn't you tell me to kill them all first? Now my invisibility cheat code was still on, but I was almost running out of grenade launcher ammo. But even then, I started noticing the cracks all over. When you get to a section of the game when enemies just bombard you with high damaging weapons, coming out of the same room, but God knows how many enemies are in there. It's like that ship level again. I even tried replaying this level, full Rambo with machine gun, and I still lost too much ammo. Because you know how much ammo I had left? 56 bullets! Do you think I have enough to beat this level? Rainbow Six Lockdown, like Rainbow Six waste of bullets. It's like the programmer is just constantly spamming a number of enemies and say, yeah, you know what, this is good, fair and balanced. I'm sure the players will beat this level. Which do you think this level is fair and balanced?
Hostile neutralized. This is Bravo 2. We're pinned down. We're surrounded. Fire! I can't. Oh shit! My leg!
So, did these two like die or something?
These guys are good. We're not all gonna come out of the other side of this.
Come on, McAllen. You're not gonna die of old age.
Final level starts, you clear out the basement area, then we get to one last sniper segment in which everyone's favorite golden boy Weber decides to make some oh so sad heroic sacrifice just to let the heroes in.
Weber, this is 6. Chavez can't hear this transmission. If you fall back, the team will fail. Millions will die.
This is Alpha 2. We've reached the tower and are moving up. Get out before they surround you. We're across the last parapet. Fall back. Weber, fall back, damn it!
Negative. If I retreat, they'll flank you. Besides, I'm surrounded.
Get out of there! They're gonna kill you!
You know what? You always were second best.
Oh no, not Weber, not our golden boy again. I swear, this has got to be the most Philosopher's Stone levels of sacrifice running I've ever seen. No, don't do it, Ron. But then he comes back alive again, so what was the point of all that? Mr. Oasis Song dies, you beat the game, and the team goes back home. And that was Rainbow Six Lockdown. Despite all my rage boner, does this game still hold a place in my heart as a childhood favorite in the PS2 era? Well, just a little bit, I guess. I feel like ever since I discovered the older games had more tactical strategy-focused gameplay, I actually find myself more appreciative to how it feels to simulate the feeling of being a special force task team that executes their plans with perfection. And playing those games until, well, the console versions where you have to go run and gunning with smaller options of linear eras, yeah, I can tell it's a huge downgrade, even if younger me had an easier time. When I say easy, I meant using cheats. To be honest, I think Rainbow Six Lockdown's biggest problem isn't the action-packed linearity that advanced its roots. It's one of them, but playing this game again, when you reach the second half, it pretty much shows how rushed and incomplete this game is. Because even if you do just go running and gunning, the game would just constantly admit itself into revealing its uneven, poor enemy placements, equip the game's strongest weapons, create this artificial difficulty that makes you think you're playing a hard game. But no, it's just that the programmers made a broken game, because God knows how much budget they wasted on the cutscenes. And I think this type of challenge could work if it was the older games, but here, not so much. Hell, just looking at the multiplayer models, it does seem like this game is going to have more villain characters, but they never made it to the final game. And when I was buying the concept art and the bonuses, I'm just shocked to find out that this game was going to have more cinematics until they all scrapped in the drawing board. It looks like they just purposely cut the dialogue here just to hide the fact that this was going to be in the game at one point. And this storyboard that's been pixel censored, or just some internet made a mistake and got the wrong image resolution. Even playable characters from previous games is going to make an appearance. Other than that, the game almost had this child as a hostage, level 5 being a small house, news reports, and the final cutscene is originally going to have Clark involved. Just seeing this unused storylines just make me curious to see what the original plans were until they all changed it. So overall, I wouldn't say Lockdown is a good Rainbow Six game or an underrated FPS shooter, because even if it is, that still doesn't redeem this product from being a rushed mess. So, 2.5. That's better than Raven Shield PS2. Or at least the other console versions still remain the same, like the PS2, right? Right?
Jacoby, are you ready?
What
Come
the?
on.
Okay, people. Let's go home.
Son of a...